Check, check, check. Peace, peace. What's good? Alright. Just getting set up, y'all. About to set up shop like this. Honestly, I'll just do it like this. It don't even got that complicated. Alright, so what I should do is, you know what? I'll just do it like this. Okay. So I'll start right from here. So I'm going to upload the link from where I'm reading on here so y'all could follow along. All right, we're going to go over the the translation, the original translation. If y'all don't know, the original treaty was written in Arabic and then translated into English. So we want to make sure we're reading the right joint. So that's why I shared the link. So let's do this now. If I need to do anything else, I'll just pull it up. So we here now. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. It's called Birthright. You know, our ancestors were dope, so you know, we expressed in many different ways. I wish I could make this little. That that affect anything? No, not really. Not really. Let me see. All right, that's cool. I kind of blend in with that. I like that. That worked out just fine. Boom. Cool. First thing I want you to understand is the first diplomatic mention of the Barbary powers is found in Article 8 of the Treaty of Amity and Commerce with France in 1778. All right, so that'll be because we didn't just have a treaty with the United States of America, we also had a treaty with Great Britain. France being a European country, all right. Couple questions about the colors of the Fez. Well, green represents Venus, so that's why I like to rock out with green. Honestly, I'm pretty sure there is a science behind. Like I know the green Fez would be for public mirrors when they're going and dealing with issues on behalf of their, tribal members or national members. So normally a public minister would be wearing green Fez or green turban. That's as far as my understanding goes. But I like the color green. So either way, like I even got this. I got my different Fezes. I even got this orange joint I wore. I don't get to wear this one a lot. I gotta find more stuff to match with it. But for the most part, I'll be in my cherry red. Or sometimes I like to rock out with the green. I do need to get me another black one though. I like black. Get me like a black one, like a white tassel or something. All right, so we here. So I want you to follow where I'm going. All right. So we're going right here. The English translation, not to here, not the text of the treaty, because when you open the text of the treaty, it gives you just the general text of the treaty, not really specific. You remember, this is a translation. So you want to go to the English translation. Okay? Now, I didn't get to read this for you guys in the first part. If y'all check out the bill with Brother Titus L. So I covered the first 5 articles of this treaty. So the Arabic original of this treaty and the English translation thereof of 1786 have been examined by Dr. C. Schnook Horgrunge of Leyden, whose comments and notes and translation of various articles are as follows. All right, the seal. The inner circle of the seal contains the name Muhammad, son of Abdullah, son of Ishmael. God is his protector and his Lord. The border of the seal contains the verse taken from the well-known poem in the prophet called the Burda, which verse occurs in several other seals of these North African documents. He who takes the apostle of God for his helper, if the lions encounter him in their jungles, they will withdraw. Take that message as you want to take it. Now the text. Praise be to God. This is the written document of the Articles of Peace, which we have established with the Americans. Maricanos, Moors. Remember, we were on both sides of the war. One group of Moors on the Union side, another group on the Confederate side. Clashing. All right? Us versus us. So, got to be able to really comprehend. Okay? Being the Americans, the Maricanos. And which we have confirmed in this book and sealed with our seal, in order that they may remain permanent, if God please, written in Murakush or Marrakesh, the 25th of the blessed month of Shaban of the year 200 and 1,000, 200 and 1,000. So that'll be 1,200. I have given this literal translation of the introduction merely as a specimen, although it presents no essential difference from the translation of 1786. I have not, though, it necessary to note all the merely formal differences occurring in the translation of the articles where they do not in the least affect the meaning. All right? So he attacked the things that really made a difference. You grabbing her phone? Okay. So went through articles 1 through 5. I'm not going to go into those. I went pretty in depth in those. So we're going to start at Article 6 right here. All right. That's the original. Article 6. Actually, we're going to start from number 1. All right. I'm going to start from number 1. This is coming from the translation. So I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to cut anything short, right? We don't want to cut no corners. So we're not in a rush. We're going to get through this. All right. 1 through 10, clean slate. Boom. First article right here. The first article is that these articles mentioned in this book, being 25 articles, 7, have been agreed upon by both parties, right? 7, circle 7, circle 7, that took place in the presence of their agent, the Honorable Thomas Barclay, who came here from the side of the American states, known as the Estados Americanos, and whom they had sent to supervise their affairs and their treaty of peace with us. All right? But let's be clear. The American states were known as the Estados Americanos. Estados Americanos. American states. Who's the Americans? Americanos. Okay? So, second article. People are going to say, well, how do you know America's Morocco? This is the Estados Americanos. Are you not a Moor? If you're not a Moor and you're on the Estados Americanos, then that must mean you're an immigrant because you're not from here, because only Moors are from the Estados Americanos. But anyway, reading along. Second article. There shall be war with any nation whatever. No ship of either of the parties shall sail out and take the colors of the enemy, going to help the enemy, neither from our side nor from that of the Americans. Meaning it's completely neutral. If you got beef with one enemy, or if an enemy is attacking the other side, meaning if an enemy would be attacking the Americans, okay, then we would be neutral, wouldn't interfere. We wouldn't join the enemy attacking the Americans. We wouldn't do that. Okay? Wouldn't do that. So, second article, which we just went through. Third article. I mean, I hope I'm being clear, y'all. Y'all can pop in any questions and stuff like that, man. Feel free. Feel free. Third article is that if war has been made with any nation whatever, and a ship has been captured from people belonging to that nation, and there shall be found on board a Moslem or a Christian with goods belonging to them, they shall be at liberty with their goods. I like the translation so much better, don't y'all? Don't y'all? Don't y'all like the translation so much better? These are the little intricate things, all right, that they kind of put out. Muslim, Christian. So boom, we reading a treaty, right? So now let's start clicking the common sense. Let's start using the common sense. We're reading a treaty of peace and friendship, okay, between Morocco and the United States of America. Okay? Now, in this treaty has already made mention to America as the Estados Americanos, right? You think they're talking about the Americanos, Americanos, and also within this same treaty with United States of America and Morocco, they're talking about Muslims and Christians. Muslims and Christians. Because you have to understand, a lot of the Moors that were on the Union side, okay, in order to, how would I say this? In order to take over the Confederate side and work with the Europeans, that will also mean that they were conversos, meaning they took upon that religion of Christianity. Okay? So they too made their own private treaty with the Union side. Okay? We were still chilling with the Confederacy, which is our government. United States of America copied their government off of ours. They just left out the matriarchal part of it. Right? So, we're going to keep on going on. Now, where we at now? Boom. Let me go back to the third article. Now, the third article is that if war has been made with any nation whatever, and a ship has been captured from people belonging to that nation, and there shall be found on board a Muslim or a Christian with goods belonging to them, they shall be at liberty with their goods, meaning they shall be at freedom with what they got. Even if they were carrying goods belonging to a nation with whom we are at war, such goods shall not be taken from their hands, nor shall they be compelled to unload them, for the sake of the peace prevailing between us and them. So this is like making clearer already what I already said in the first phase of the video. So, man. And once again, we're talking about ships. We're talking about vessels, the body. We're also talking about our automobiles or whatever thing we're traveling in, our property, right? Our own identification, that's considered our property, right? Our goods, whatever we have on us, can't be taken, whether you're a Muslim or a Christian. Even if you got stuff belonging to a nation that either the United States of America or the Moorish Empire is at war with. Simple. Let's keep it simple. Fourth article. There shall be a signal. Instead of signal or pass, the original has only one word, aldma, meaning signal, sign, or token, between us by which we may know each other at sea. So we shall have a token or a signal or a pass or some type of sign. You see what I'm saying? Between us by which we, you understand? By which we may know each other at sea. So a lot of times when people are getting stopped in their travel is because they don't know who you are. Because according to the treaty, you're not bearing a signal or sign or token between the two parties, which we may recognize each other. So that way we don't stop each other or violate each other's rights. Let me continue reading this though. Whenever one of us meets a warship, he shall not examine it, but the declaration of the commander shall suffice him concerning her, meaning the ship, with other ships, meaning it would exempt you from examination, stop you from not being stopped. Stop you from being stopped in your travels. That's called a stopple. All right. So all that traveling issue, cut clean. But you got to be on the right side of your treaty, man. You got to be on the right side of your treaty. Fifth article. If either of the parties shall be at war, the original has only if there shall be war. Okay, so we're going to read the fifth article now. Now in the original it says, if there shall be war, not if either party shall be at war. It says, if there shall be war. If there shall be war, period. Between whoever. If there shall be war, and shall meet a vessel at sea belonging to the other, it is agreed that if an examination is to be made, it shall be done by sending a boat with 2 or 3 men only. You know what that's called? That's called policy enforcers, cops, highway patrol. When they say back up, back up, and they come in what, 2 or 3, sometimes more than that. You got to see how things play out in the real world. Only, and if any gun shall be bred, an injury done without reason, meaning no just cause, the offending party shall make good all damages. Meaning, if you get damaged without due process or without a proper, they haven't followed the proper chain of command, meaning there's no warrant or no, nothing signed by a judge authorizing them to execute or stop you in your travels, then you have a right to sue and to claim damages for your grievances. And they got to make good on all the damages because they're obligated to, not because whether they feel like it or not, they have to. They don't have a choice in the matter. But you got to know that. They know that and they're not going to tell you. You got to know that. You got to know that. So let's go back. That was Article 5. The 6th article is that if Muslims, I wonder who the Muslims are. You know what? Let's make this fun. Real quick. See what they got. Crap. This is a crap link. I'm just trying to pull out the dictionary, but they might make me have to do that. Let's see here. Because they'll say Muslim and Muslim is the same thing. Now we understand they're followers of the religion of Islam, but let's be more specific. Sometimes when it comes to definitions, the internet ain't gonna give you what you need. So, you gotta bring out the big boys. Okay? As you can see, this is a thickie. So, M-O M-O-S Now, this is what a Muslim is. Should just grab my shit out. Pull this off real quick. Okay. Let's see if y'all can get this. I'm trying to show y'all. Look, it's so hefty though. Put this on table. Oh. Hopefully y'all can see it. I'm hoping y'all can see that. Moslem. Aye. There we go. There we go. Because I'm about to read this, so I want to make sure I got a good take. Y'all can read this for your damn self. Ain't nothing cool said. Alright, boom. We got that. Now we can proceed. I like people basing shit. Oh, well, I heard Pooh said. Nah, I don't like that. I don't like that. Okay. There we go. All right. All right. So I'm going to read Muslim. Oh, this is still up. All right. I'm going to read Muslim. Noun. Right? Muslims, Moslems, or Muslim, Moslem. A true believer from Salama, to resign oneself to God. To resign, Resign, it says resign, but to resign oneself to God. An adherent of Islam or follower of Muhammad. Okay? And that's what it is. The religion, Moslamism, is the religion of the Muslims, which is Islam, Mohammedanism. Okay? So, yeah, they'll play with the words today and say Muslim, but essentially, if you want to go back, and we need to go back because we're ancient peoples, all right? So, if we're talking about ancient peoples, we are Muslims. Okay? We don't operate how these modern religions operate today. We come from an ancient tradition and culture and custom that looks weird to other people because they are what they're used to. Anyway, let's continue. So you read Article 5. Article 6 is that if Muslims, now that we know what Muslims are, if Muslims shall capture people of our, meaning here the American nation, or their goods, and bring them to our, meaning here, meaning of the Moroccans, Lord, may God give him victory, he will set them at liberty. Likewise, if Muslims from other than our dominions, if Muslims from other than our dominions shall capture them and bring them into any of our ports, they shall be set at liberty, because they are under our protection and on terms of peace with us. So wouldn't you prefer to fall back under protection? I'm just saying, because this is the Moorish Empire, this is the Moroccan Empire, this is the Al-Moroccan Empire, the Maroccan Empire, Moroccan, different ways it was spelled throughout history. So they're all talking about one empire. So whether you want to call it Moorish, Moor, Morocco, Al-Morocc, don't really matter. It doesn't really matter. She passed out. Don't really matter how you cut it. Still talking about the same people. So let's go into Article 6, right? Is that if Muslims shall capture people of our, meaning the American nation, or their good, and bring them to the Moroccans, Lord, may give him victory. He will set them at liberty. Likewise, if Muslims from other than our dominion shall capture them and bring them into any of our ports, they shall be set at liberty, because they are under our protection They are under our protection and on terms of peace with us. So this is how people are like, yo, how you gonna get the federal government to protect you? It's because there's already a treaty created by the brilliance of our ancestors to where they don't have a choice in the matter. They agreed to protect us. No one put a gun to their head. You know why? Because they wanted recognition. Okay? So they agreed to protect us. Moors, no matter where we were always connected to the empire. So it don't matter if I was in so-called England today. I'm still in Morocco because my laws follow me wherever I go. This is what you call international law. As long as I'm not abridging or, violating the laws of that nation and I'm abiding here, then I'm in my right to be protected under my own laws. But that's what it means to be competent, to be a majority. You're not going to go cause problems where you go. You're going in the energy of peace at all times. So guess what? Peace is always welcome. Destruction is not. Chaos is not always welcome. People don't want to deal with that shit. So if you're coming to do everything but bring peace, then people not gonna want to deal with you. They're gonna call you outcast. Or that's what you would call a stateless person. Because they ain't got no type of goddamn common sense on how to act right, you know what I'm saying, amongst other people on the planet. And that's just simply what it is. And that's how the world feel about black African American people. No, there's no longer time. There's no longer time to like babysit this. Many more have gone over this, millions, not even more. It's just people in general. People in general have gone over this issue millions of times over. We are not black. Moors are not black. Blacks are not more. Well, blacks are Moors if they'd wake up and realize who they are. But, blacks are Moors, but not all Moors are blacks. Because we understand it's a status thing. There's no such people in the world called black. We read in the treaty right now. Tell me where you see black people at. Or have you only seen them talking about people and nations? Okay? So once again, y'all, once again, I'm gonna have to decline that. If you're calling me, I'll get back with you after I'm done. So this is what I'm saying. So there's two types of Moors in Article 6, right? There's Moors under the rulership of the Sultan, and then there's Moors who are not subject to the dominions. Okay? Either way you look at it, when it comes to coming across our ships at sea, because that's what they call the roads and the highways. They call it at sea. It's Admiralty, right? So when you're out at sea, there's got to be a way you recognize that they know who you are, so that they know, no, don't stop this, leave this, let this person travel. They haven't done anything wrong. They have a constitutional federal protection that we can't do that to them. Why? Because they're the heirs of the people that gave our government recognition to be established. So we owe them indefinitely. Yeah, Moors. And of course, the United States of America has been using it. How you think they operating? This is what people understand. How you think they operate? How you think they still here? Only reason why immigrants are allowed to be here still, or people who are not from this country, is because that the treaty is still active. Once that treaty deactivates, everybody gotta go back home. Like if you're not from here, you gotta go back home. Wherever home is. If it ain't here, you gotta go back home. And it's as simple as that. Okay? So that's pretty much what it boils down to. Moors are need to be enforcing their treaty. Because the United States is operating, right? So this treaty is the foundation of, or the authorization for the United States of America. On our flip side, this treaty is our protection, right? Because we're protected underneath this treaty. So this treaty keeps them at bay to not mistreat us. But we got to be lined up with this treaty. And no one can tell you who you are. You got to do the research and look at the history and just see for yourself. The truth is right there in your face. You can't deny it. The world can't deny it. So keep on lying to yourself if you want. Okay? Keep on lying to yourself. But the world know we all Moors. All right? Now, in the 7th article, instead of interruption, the original has a word meaning difficulty. So now we're going to read Article 7. If any vessel of either party shall put into a port of the other and have occasion for provisions or other supplies, they shall be furnished without any difficulty or molestation. You understand? So what happens? Put it like this: since this is modern day, right? Our automobiles would be considered vessels, right? Let's start with the body first. My body is a vessel, right? So when I stop at a port to get what am I doing? I may stop at a restaurant because my vessel is hungry. I'm feeling low on energy, so I may need some provisions or other supplies. I may need to go grocery shopping. My vessel may need to get my eyes checked. My vessel may need to go get something checked out at the doctor. My vessel may need to go run errands. Whatever my vessel is doing, I'm gaining provisions and supplies. And guess what? When I go get those things, they shall be furnished to me without any difficulty or molestation. All right? I won't be bothered while I'm doing that. If any vessel of the United States shall meet with a disaster at sea and put into one of our ports to repair, she shall be at liberty to land and reload her cargo without paying any duty whatever. Okay? Meaning if natural disaster hit, you ain't going to be charged. You're just going to be left. Do what you need to do, get yourself back on your feet and get going to where you need to get to. With no difficulty or molestation. It's Article 7. 8th article. Is everybody with me so far? I don't know, Ivy. I haven't been in court with others. The only people I've been in court with is myself and my tribal members. So I can tell you from our standpoint, anytime we had those issues in court, the foundation was always the treaty, straight up, violation of the treaty, Article 6 of the American Constitution. Article 6, automatically. Article 6, then Article 3. Article 6, then Article 3. Article 6, then Article 3. You put those two together, you got a 9. Y'all know what a 9 looks like. You got a 9. Article 6, Article 3. Article 6, Supremacy Clause. Article 3, Diversity of Citizenship, y'all. 6 and 3, 6 and 3. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. 6 and 3. Article 6, Article 3. Treaties, diversity. Treaties, diversity. Okay? Okay. We're going into 8. Let me pull 8 up. All right. Article 8 is that if any vessels meet with a disaster, you just read this, and runs ashore. Oh, let me see. Nope. I lost my spot. What was I at? Difficulty. We was at 7. I'm going to read 8. That's 8. Huh? Interesting, ain't that? See how interesting that is? I don't know if y'all even caught that. Look at this. I want to read Article 8 here in the text. And look at that. Well, it looks like 8's right here, but they forgot to number it. You see what I'm saying? So it's like little stuff like that. Like, it's good to just go from the damn translation. So, we're going to go back. 8. Now, 8th article is that if any vessel meets with a disaster and runs ashore and unloads her cargo in order to repair, she shall be at liberty to reload her cargo whenever she likes without paying duty or anything. I'm going to go right here just to verify. if any vessel of the United States shall meet with a disaster at sea and put into one of our ports to repair, she shall be at liberty to land and reload her cargo without paying any duty whatever. Okay, so this treaty works both ways, both for the United States and for the Moorish Empire. We got 7. Okay, sitting up the 9th article. Number 9, y'all. The 9th article is that if any vessel shall be cast on shore on any part of our coast, she will be left to herself, that she may consider what suits her best, be it to sail out from or by another place, or to transfer her cargo, or whatever else may be convenient to her. Nobody shall approach her, as she is under our protection. Likewise, if a vessel enters a port, or wind forces her to put into a port, she shall not be compelled to unload her cargo. On the contrary, she shall remain under our protection until she sails out by her own free will. That's why they say, can I check your trunk? No, you need a warrant for that. Can I check your glove compartment? No, you need a warrant for that. Matter of fact, to even stop me, you need a warrant for that. So what's the warrant? You see? So it protects both the United States, because remember, at the time this treaty was made, it may not appear that way now because we're not doing that shit like that no more. We done calmed down, y'all. It's called the balancing out. You know why? Because we was like here at level 10, turned up on Slavics. Turned up. They were like here. All about equality. They just trying to live. You know what I'm saying? We banging on them, stealing their ships, stealing their cargo. That's why it may seem like, yo, why is there so much protection based for them? Because the treaty was made so they could live. We was already living. The problem was we was living very well, but still eating their food like some greedy ass bullies. We couldn't leave well enough alone. So this is why all these things are in place, to protect their shit. But don't think that in the same aspect, our shit's being protected, right? So it's about karma. So now that we calm down, right? We're not hijacking their shit. We're not taking their stuff for ransom. So we calmed down, and then they started to rise. Karma. You got to balance it back out. So now we're even. Now our shit's starting to evil out, balance back out again. Now we can get back to an evil playing field on this treaty. But you see, things, a scale got to balance out first before it can be on equal footing. You can't just be unbalanced on one shit, you ODing, and then now, as soon as you stop, now you want everything to be equal and shit to be justice out. Nope, that's what karma is. Karma's like, okay, you was up here for a while and you had it down here, right? Now their turn. Now their turn. Now you're gonna be down here while they're up there. Okay, good. You learned your lesson. You didn't get mad. You still stuck with love and understanding and wisdom. So now you're balanced out now. Boom. Now we can get back to peace. But karma has a process, y'all. It ain't just like, boop, oh, these guys are evil. Like we were doing worse shit to them. Okay? So this treaty was really for the protection of the Americans. Really got to comprehend this. Really, really, really got to comprehend this. And when I say Americans, I mean Americans in the modern sense. I'm not talking about Americans in the most ancient sense. Okay? Even though our own were betraying us. Kind of like how our own so-called black leaders are still doing the same shit today. All right? But to go back to what I was talking about, if you're going to stop by for provisions, right? Or stop by for repair, ain't that like taking your car to the shop? Or ain't that like stopping by a gas station? You're gaining provisions, supplies, so you can keep on traveling. All these things. You got to think about all these things like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's what that is. That's what that is. That's what that is. Okay. Now, the 10th article. is that if any of the parties shall have an agreement with any Christian nation, and the engagement takes place near a town of one of the parties, we shall help each other against that nation until she be defeated or have gone away. So now, if there's an enemy and that enemy steps into, all right, let's say if an enemy steps into Washington right now, right, so-called Washington territory, and they start battling it out, okay, and this is taking place near our jurisdiction. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, then guess what? Guess who's going to come to our aid? And guess who's going to come to their aid? That's the whole point of the treaty, y'all. To make sure we maintain a good relationship between each other and keep the bullshit out. All those third parties who are not involved. So when they say nations who are warring, just think of that as a third party. Third party. No third parties allowed in this treaty, y'all. So if a third party come in and trying to fuck us up, then guess who's going to come to our protection? The United States of America. And if entities come in to fuck up the United States of America, and I know this sounds crazy, but I'm going by how this treaty as it is, okay? Then we are obligated to, now remember now, I'm saying the United States of America, the United States of America, if things were coming in to go against the United States of America, guess what? We are obligated to help the United States of America and fight. And so there's only one entity we would help the United States of America fight. That would either be warring nation. So pretty much, remember, like I said, anyone who's operating with the United States, which is not the United States of America, I'm talking about the United States Corporation Company, you're trading with the enemy. So if the United States of America is at war with the United States, which they are, then guess what? When war break out, the United States of America and the military ain't coming to aid your ass because you're a part of the problem. The enemy is the United States because they walked away or abandoned their seats or their oaths, and they're still operating in the de facto today. That's why the Pope came and said, yo, drop all your weapons, because when shit pop off here, it's going to be too real. But nobody want to listen to that. Nobody want to listen to that. No one knows they have used it with remedy. Well, then that's a damn shame. If people would use their treaty, they'd probably get a whole lot more remedy. And I'm not just talking about using it in the sense of, oh, just pull the treaty out when you have court. No, use the treaty in your daily operations. This is why I talk about having a trust, having your 498 number, making sure it's created for WA-BEN purposes, for treaty purposes, claim your tax treaty benefits. So that way, whenever you're operating in commerce under the UCC, which is what the commercial world operates in, the UCC, right? Then you would fall in line, okay, under your treaty protections. Perfection. Not the social, but using your trust tied to your treaty, which would affect you at work. It would affect you in your daily travels. It would affect you if you have a business. You can set up contracts with these companies. Like you could go to Staples and fill out an application for either for your entity or for yourself for tax exemption. So that way, whenever you go there, you can get the supplies you need and not worry about stuff. So you can function with the treaty outside of court. But god damn it, if you in court, man, that treaty better be your foundation. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? There's only, who else can use that treaty? Who else can use that treaty? Not Negro, blacks, or coloreds. Not Negro, blacks, or colored. So that ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen at all.
Come on, go.
So, 10th article is that if any of the parties shall have an agreement with any Christian nation, and the engagement takes place near a town of one of the parties, we shall help each other against that nation until she shall be defeated or have gone away. Or if a vessel shall be cast ashore in Oadnun or in another place, the Christians being aboard shall be under our protection until they reach their country, if God please. So this treaty was about the Christians seeking protection from us. We are not the victims here, y'all. We are not the victims here. We are the law bringers. We give the law. So we have fallen outside of our own law. Hey, can you guys cut that out, please? Thank you. We are giving, you know what I'm saying? We have fallen out of our own law. So because of the fact we've fallen out of our own law, all right, other people have come in and taken advantage. But don't think, for instance, we wasn't violating people. That's why we had to go through what we went through, the karma. You know what I'm saying? The scales. That's why we have to get that beat down. Because we was straight violating. But nobody want to keep it 100 with themselves and be like, yo, you know, my ancestors straight violated. The ancestors straight violated. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to keep it a buck. They just want to be like, no, the Moors did that, or they did that, or they did that. They always want to point the damn finger, but they don't never want to point it at themselves. So, you know, when I know who I am, I accept the good and I accept the bad. Both. What's wrong, Kenny?
My Lego, that one Lego, like this.
Okay, so what's up? What are you guys
I'll
doing?
try to fix it.
I'm going to buy my shoes. Then he's breaking it apart.
Kenton, are you about to go outside? So why don't you put on your shoes so you guys can go outside and play? Huh? You want to put on your shoes?
You need a jacket also. First, let's go see if you want to wear a jacket.
Nah, you should wear a jacket. It's a little chilly outside.
Okay. Let's get this.
Or if you got a hoodie or something.
Like this?
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah.
Hey, Kenny, so you got to put on a hoodie for you to go outside, okay? It's a little chilly.
You don't bring.
Put that on.
Kenton, you shouldn't bring don't bring my Lego people because I don't want them getting lost outside.
I have buckets right here.
No, don't bring no Legos outside. He's right. You're going to lose them little pieces. And then you're going to be crying about them later. Why don't you bring the big toys? Where's Black Panther, Iron Man?
Upstairs.
Yeah,
In
so,
the
yeah.
porch.
And you got
Okay,
that,
yes.
And then
So go grab your big toys, okay?
Okay.
Exhibit, please.
Hold on. Stop poking me like that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, if you've never been to court, you're doing it right. We should never have to go to their courts, ever. So don't look forward to going to their courts. Not unless you got business to handle, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, we should be never going to court for them to be placing judgment on us for anything. If they are, that just means there is somewhere in the process where we haven't done something right. We're not standing on something. We're missing a crucial piece, and that's why we're still being imposed upon by foreign judgment. All right, a Chinese man can't place judgment on me because this ain't China. So it's the same thing. A European cannot place judgment on me here because this is not Europe. This is not New England. Okay? So it's about knowledge of self and knowing who you are, also knowing the geography, knowing where you are. You know, there was a case I read up in expatriation and citizenship of the United States, right? When we was going over the girl, she was born in Mexico before Mexico became Texas. Okay, so before Texas was Texas, it was Mexico. But then the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo got signed in February 2nd, 1848. So now Texas became, New Mexico. What was New Mexico became Texas. Now, however, when New Mexico got annexed to Texas, she never relinquished her original allegiance to Mexico. So even though the territory changed, not in terms of the land, but the artificial jurisdiction, she still kept true to her original allegiance to her mother country, even though that area was now being called Texas. So it's the same thing. Even though this area is now being called Washington, I am still holding true to my mother country, which is Morocco, the Maghreb Al Aqsa, Morocco, the extreme west, also known as the North Gate. We out here. We right here in the North Gate. All right. So it's about mindset. So I understand that I may be walking around here. I'll say, yeah, this is North America, but I understand deeply that this is Moorish dominions. I'm not in Washington. I'm not a resident of Washington. I'm a resident of Moorish dominions, a permanent resident of Moorish dominions, because I'm never leaving my mother country. All right. So this is how, even though we're in the same space, we're in two different jurisdictions. International law is playing because we're out at sea, and not that we are out at sea. The state of Washington is out at sea because they're artificial. They don't exist. They're not tied to the land. I'm tied to the land, and everything I do that's attached to me is tied to the land. Everything that's attached to you is tied to the land. All right. So the states of are the ones are in admiralty because why? They're concepts. They're a thought. It's a personality. They're a thought. They're an idea. Washington State is an idea. It's not a physical, definitive thing. All right. So if you choose to be under the jurisdiction of admiralty, meaning you choose to be a part of things that aren't real, meaning they only exist in your mind, then that's what makes you stateless. Because your mind is stateless. Your mind ain't got no type of recognition of like, oh, who am I? Where do I belong? Where do I fit in? Where do I come from? Who am I? You know what I'm saying? I, self, law, and master. That's what that is. Word. So in Olaf, Kansas Republic territory, a European fireman got acquitted today for spitting on an Asiatic child and calling him a nigger. The family was upset about the verdict. I bet the family was upset, but they can't do shit about it because they're classified as state property. It is what it is, y'all. Y'all got to understand. If you're not going to honor your ancestors, you're going to be liable to the mistreatment, because you're missing your treaty. So now you're going to be mistreated. So now you're going to be liable for mistreatment by other citizens who pledge an allegiance to something, whether it's artificial or not. They have an allegiance to something. You don't. So now you're going to be liable to brutality, violence, assault, mistreatment, not only of you, your loved ones, and your property, because you have no ties. You're showing that you have no ties to your culture or your religion, and that's what it is. You either a Muslim or you're a Christian, yo. We read already what a Muslim is. So you either gonna come back to the ancient ways and thoughts of your ancestors, or you're gonna be liable to the abuses of other citizens who actually have an allegiance to something, whether it's de jure or not. They still have an allegiance to something. They still define, this is what I'm a part of. Affirmatively. Blacks, Africans, Americans don't have that. So that's why they get mistreated like that. And it's unfortunate that a baby gets spit on like that, but it also shows how it shows the powerlessness of the status of being black. And it's not just like, oh, you're black on paper. It's a mental thing. Mentally, you're in a helpless situation. Not because you don't have the power to overcome it or the power to change that. It's because you believe you're powerless. Willie Lynch syndrome. All day, every day. And like I said, if we as mother and father don't wake up and claim our rights, then our babies are going to be on the sinking ship with us. Okay? So think about that. When you're stateless, shit like that can happen to not just you, but your babies. Your babies. Imagine your baby gets spit on and you can't get no remedy. You know what I'm saying? Your baby gets spit on, dude. That's like the craziest disrespect. And then to be called and then to be called a nigger on top of that, you might as well just, they're telling you to your face, slave, little boy, little girl. I don't give a fuck if you got a mother and father. They slaves too. They grown, but they little boys, little girls anyway. I still own them. They're still property. So ain't shit gonna happen to me. So this is how it goes, yo. This is the real world. Law don't care about people's emotions. People care about people's emotions. So if you care about the well-being of you and your babies, this is why you need to be in alignment with your treaty, because there's certain experiences that our children should never experience. And shit like that is one of them. They should be aware that it happens to other people, but they should not have a intimate, experience with that. They shouldn't. And if they do, that means we as parents, as mother and father, have failed. And it's not a life sentence, but we're fucking up somewhere. Because if that can happen to the baby, it means it can happen to the adults. If it can happen to the adults, it can happen to the babies. So everyone has the right to a name and a nationality. Everyone. But your blood don't change over time. So it's not like you can say, oh, well, I decided that since the beginning of time I've been a Chinese person, so I'm going to claim Chinese nationality. Not to say you can't go and become a citizen of China. You can do that, but you can't change your bloodline. You could be a Chinese citizen. You're just a Moor that's a Chinese citizen. You're a Moor that naturalized and became a Chinese citizen. But you're still a Moor based on your bloodline, because your bloodline don't change for nobody, for no thing, unless you're eating very, very bad foods that can mutate your shit like GMOs, then, But other than that, stay away from the mutations. Right? So, and there you have it. I could stop here at 10. I don't want to go further. I don't want to overwhelm or overcompensate. I just want to leave shit simple right now. Okay? So, remember, your country is your state. Your state is your country. And both don't have shit. Both, the substance of both are people. So a nation consists of people. A state consists of people. A country consists of people. People. But if you look in the census or the SS5 form or the SF181 form, you'll see that Black and African American don't have any origins in people. So that's the first problem right there. No origins in people. So what type of protections would you expect as a Black African American when there's no treaties laid out for you? There's nothing laid out on how to treat you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Okay. Have fun. Room. Go travel.
She sleep. Her
Yeah.
baby keeps in there too.
Yeah, she knocked out. I got her. She wake up. Room. Go travel. And right? No license, right? Right to travel. That's what I'm saying. Because we put everything beneath our trust. So ain't got no worries. Anyway. That is the most. I couldn't even imagine somebody spitting on my baby girl and calling her a nigga after that shit, and still be breathing after that. And just so you know, as a national, if you feel like your life is threatened or the life of your child is threatened, It don't matter if it's a person who's so-called federal officer or whatever. If they're the ones that you feel is threatening you, you have a right to stop the feeling of being threatened. Meaning, you could put their lights out, all right, and not have to worry about murder, because that's not murder. They can only pull that shit on U.S. citizens. I'm gonna repeat that. They can only pull that shit on U.S. citizens. You cannot pull that shit on aliens, non-immigrants, non-residents who have an allegiance to a nation, an ancient nation at that. Ancient, not modern, ancient. All right. So I feel like we've been covered a good amount up to this point. So I'm gonna leave it here, family. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all building with me, joining me as always. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? To get this information and just put stuff together. So I'm digging it. Like I said, if you're interested in becoming a private member soon now, email me. As for those who are already members, I will definitely catch y'all tomorrow on the conference call. All right. And then from there, you know, I'll be doing the next segment. We'll cover articles 11 to 15. All right. Yeah, I feel good about that. There's a part of me I'd be like, no, keep going. But there's a part of me that's like, no, stop. You don't want to do too much. Stop. Calm down. Calm down. Too excited. Relax. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to relax. I'm going to relax. Yes, you can. You can enforce all those things, but you got to be in your right mind and in your right capacity to be able to enforce the Constitution. Like the prophet said, you got to be able to enforce your treaties. And the only way you're going to enforce, you can't enforce nothing. You can't enforce something you don't know nothing about, first of all. So if you don't even know that there's a treaty existing for you, then, you know what I'm saying? That just shows how deep in the doo-doo bucket you are. Okay? And that's not even making fun. We was all deep in the doo-doo bucket. All right? We all have to climb out of our own shit. Some of us are still climbing out of our shit. It's just not as much shit as when we started, you know? So, that being said, the conference call, I'm on the West Coast, so for me, I'm starting at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard. If you're in Central Time, that'll be 7 p.m. If you're in Eastern, that'll be 8 p.m. If you're in Alaska or something like that, I think you're an hour behind me. So if I start at 5, then that would be 4 p.m. for anybody in like Alaska and stuff like that. All right. So Islam family, love y'all, love and light. Peace. We'll keep on building. Islam.